All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Happy Friday, everybody. It is March 11th, 2022. Before we begin, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, click on that white logo, turn on notifications, subscribe to our channel. Really do appreciate it as always. Make sure to hit that like button if you love these videos. Comment any of your questions. Here to help as always. Let's get to it. The Dow is up 249 points. In the futures, NASDAQ up 1.20%. S&P up 0.88% at 42.85. Russell 2000 up 0.53%, 2018. Crude oil is at 105.95. So we're getting a lot of volatility here. We are now officially on oil down 18.5% from its peak. So nearing a bear market. I know, the volatility for you. Let's take a look at gasoline futures. They're up 1.89%, 321 a gallon. Gold futures down 1.74% at 1965. Silver futures down 1.5% at 25.85. And then you have Bitcoin is down about 0.91% at 39,270. Ethereum is up slightly, 26.21. Euro dollar is up about 12 pips, right below 110. 116.91 for the dollar yen. It is up 79 pips. Dollar yen has been actually pretty strong lately. So what's the big news today? Putin did have some comments this morning. Let me go ahead and find exactly what the comments are, so it can be as accurate as possible. Here we go. Futures jump as Putin hints at positive shifts, quote, positive shifts in talks with Ukraine. So even the smallest, the smallest little hint of a peace deal is moving the markets, which is great. But for the most part, here we go. This is from Ukraine Shinhal. No results in negotiation with Russia. Here's the actual quote. Yesterday was a real attempt on our side to have some concrete negotiations with Lavrov, but as you have been able to observe, it has not led us to any results. So again, Putin has said there is a, let me quote this again, exactly what he said. He said, God, if I had it here, there's so much stuff that I retweeted, it's hard to find out here. This is from Putin. There are positive shifts in talk in Ukraine. Here's a full quote from Vladimir Putin. There are certain positive shifts. Negotiators on our side tell me, end quote. No further details provided by Putin until he meets with Lukashenko. So that's where the market is showing a little bit of I guess, optimism here. The VIX being down 2.5%, now below 30. So these are the levels that are really, really important. It is a Friday. It's probably going to be tough to do anything. My target here on the VIX, there's right around 27.68. Looking at E-mini futures, again, we've been talking about levels ad nauseum. Again, I talk about it every day as I do my live blog on Twitter. 42.52 is your support. We're above that. I said if we broke 4,300, we can have a conversation for upside. We broke that, but we rejected. We're right here at 200-day. This is more than likely a short. More than likely this year you're going to sell off the news and target 42.52. Again, would I do that for today expiry? No. Would I take a look at possibly next week's expiry? Possibly. Again, we want to see if there's any upside gaps to fill, downside gaps to fill on any kind of stocks that need it, that have been hammered. So for example, Apple wouldn't be a bad idea. Again, I was looking at the 160 calls yesterday to buy, but I didn't fill. I was like, man, just adding more risk is no point. But you could see 159.89 right now. AMD, we had puts, we took those. Now it's above 107.63. So again, we could possibly hit AMD again for puts. If we break down 107.63, we can target 105 again. And we could just keep doing this over and over as we have the chop and chop back and forth. So there is obviously opportunities out there, but you have to see where the wind is shifting in terms of the market. Today, it is green. I don't think it'll hold for the most part. Again, if we hold above 4,300, then we can start taking a look at the 437 calls and see if we can get to the top end of this range. But right now, we're just in no man's land. Again, there's some opportunities and some, names that are, kind of beaten down, or those that have soared. Maybe you're taking a look at energy or something for puts in the future. Look at XLE starting to come down a little bit, right on the 50-day moving average. There's obviously some opportunity if we break below 74, that 200-day XOM. Again, a break of 83.08, you could target the 81s. So again, if oil starts sliding back, there is some opportunity there. For example, I'm watching AMD today. Let's see if we break 107.63 to the downside, and they'll sell this news, and then we can go ahead and play puts. Why not? That's probably the best way to do it. So whatever's going to work in terms of technicals. Again, we're still having a downward trend, so nothing has really changed. But 4,300, if we can break above that somehow and sustain above 4,300, then it gets interesting in terms of calls. Then you have a target of 431, 437, 4371, and then basically that's what we'd be waiting for. The crazy stuff is that basically we just tested Monday's level. If we get to around 43.15, we're flat for the week. All that volatility and we're flat for the week. And I posted this on Twitter. Again, you can see here kind of the symmetrical triangle. We were going to get a move up or down, really dependent on what was going to come first. And then we got the Putin news, and then we broke out a little bit. But it's sliding down a little bit. Let's see if we can get something out of it. Good morning. In terms of SPY, let's see. In terms of SPY, a break of 432.43 would be nice for some upside. We're holding the 200-day, but more than likely we'll probably test 425.40. So again, it's kind of hard to call right now. All you do is wait for your levels. Break up 425.40, you can start taking a look at some downside puts, if anything. But other than that, I mean, right now you're in no man's land. Good morning, Ingrid. What are the odds Putin will be slapped over war crimes for violating ceasefires and targeting shelling retreating civilians? Preston Brown asked. I can't really comment on that because I'm not really sure if that's even enforceable. I mean, what law did he break? What, Geneva Convention? Maybe United Nations? I mean, United Nations is a governing force, but they don't have anyone to actually enforce. So that's really the tough thing. And I think, again, this is pure speculation on mine. I think the last thing you want to do to Putin is embarrass the guy to make him desperate. You know, maybe he comes to the table hat in hand and says, hey, listen, this didn't work out the way I wanted, but don't humiliate me either, and, you know, cause some other rift down the future. So I'm pretty sure we would kind of like let some things slide in the name of peace. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know if he's going to get charged for war crimes. Who really knows? AMD expiring today or next week? That would be for next week if we played AMD, yes. He's also threatening to use chemical weapons. Yeah, I mean, what more could I say to that? I mean, talk about more downside risk. Other than, you know, obviously thinking about the horrific thing that's going to happen to Ukraine if he uses chemical weapons. But I mean, this thought of he's going to be treated as a war criminal, who knows? Who really knows? I mean, who knows if he even survives this election, this political cycle that's happening in Russia, this political strife with all these companies leaving, you know. No, there's no guarantee that he'll stay in power either. We don't know. I mean, Russia's had plenty of revolutions, so who knows? Goldman saying that there's a chance of recession in the next 12, 24 months. That's what they said. There's a 30% chance. I don't agree with that. No. I think they're basically pricing in the worst case scenario, and I don't agree. Just my opinion. Playing DocuSign today. Am I playing DocuSign today? It's downside. They reported earnings, I believe. So no, I'm taking a look at just kind of sticking with, you know, the stuff that's easier to trade with, that we know. Apple, AMD, we traded AMD, we did it live with a freebie. I mean, if we break down 107.64 again, hey, we could target 104. We can target 104 for next week. Why not? I'd rather stick to the stuff that we know has been a little easier for us because it always has volume. We don't know if DocuSign will have volume. That's the only thing. So a DocuSign, excuse me. We'll just have to wait and see. Well, again, guys, I wouldn't celebrate yet. I mean, it's nice to see we had a nice little bump. If we break above 4,300 and hold above 4,300, then things are a little more optimistic, but nothing has really changed. I mean, it was just one little soundbite from Vladimir Putin, or one quote that basically moved the markets. Who knows if he has calls, right? We'll just have to wait and see. Buying yet? No. Listen, buying it, we don't know if this guy's going to use chemical weapons, for God's sake. We don't know how long this war is going to go. So there's so many downside factors here that we just have to wait, unfortunately. Boring, I know, but you have to wait. Apple calls. Let's take a look at Apple. I don't know if that's what he meant, or APLE. I don't know if he meant APLE or Apple. I don't know if he meant Apple Hospitality REIT or Apple. I'm going to assume regular Apple. Break of 160.43 and sustained above. We could target possibly 161. That's too tight. Maybe 162. That's a little tight. So again, we're just consolidating here. Apple isn't the best. I think AMD is a better shot. MU has more downside. Break of 73.81. I was watching that yesterday. We could see if we can get a break there. But again, everything is up now because of the comments. So we need to see if we were sustained 4,300. Apple would be nothing to touch. But there you go. We'll go and leave it there, guys. Have a great rest of your morning. Thank you so much for joining me again on the morning note, and we'll catch you guys later for the aftermarket recap. Cheers.